The twin suns of Arthon Prime rose over the metal roofs of the alien city. The light was pale and cold, spreading across the broken buildings where the last humans lived. The city once belonged to many races, but after the Great War, the alien rulers called the Varn took full control. They called humans a lesser race, weak and emotional. Many humans worked in the factories, cleaning waste or fixing machines that the aliens no longer cared to touch. Among them was a man named Dale. He was tall, quiet, and carried years of hard work in his tired eyes. He lived in the lower section of the city, with 3 small children he had taken in years ago. None of the children were his by blood, but he called them his own. The oldest, Myra, was 10 and brave. The middle one, Tom, was 8 and clever. The youngest, Leah, was only 5 and still afraid of the world outside their door. Every morning, Dale woke before dawn. He fixed the small heater, gave the children food, and then went to work at the cargo docks. He was known there as the human who never complained. The alien overseers liked that about him. He did not speak much, but when machines broke, he'd fix them faster than anyone else. That morning felt different. The air outside was tense. The streets were filled with alien guards. Posters and screens showed the face of the Varn governor. His voice was cold and sharp as he spoke from every broadcast tower. The human population has grown beyond control, he declared. Resources are limited. From this day, all unclaimed human children are to be collected and sold to outer colonies. They will serve where they are needed. The people froze. Humans standing in the streets dropped what they were doing. Mothers pulled their children close. Some cried openly. The aliens watched with dull expressions, as if the suffering of others meant nothing to them. At the docks, Dale heard the message echo through the loudspeakers. He stood still, his hands covered in oil, his mind heavy. He thought about Mira, Tom, and little Leah. He knew what this law meant. The Varn were going to take every human child who had no official parents, and on paper, the 3 children were orphans. That night, Dale returned home with silence heavy in his steps. The children ran to him, happy as always, but he could not smile back. He sat down and pulled Mira close. "Mira," he said, "listen to me. Tomorrow, you will stay inside. No window open, no door unlocked. Do you understand?" Mira looked confused. "Why, Dad?" she asked softly. He did not answer right away. His heart was burning with fear, but he could not show it. "There is danger outside," he said at last. "Promise me you will stay quiet." Tom asked, "Are the soldiers coming here?" Dale nodded slightly. They might. The youngest, Leah, climbed onto his lap and wrapped her small arms around his neck. "You will keep us safe," she said in her small, innocent voice. He smiled weakly and kissed her forehead. "I will," he said. "I promise." Outside, the city buzzed with tension. Alien patrols marched through the streets, collecting lists, marking houses. Some humans tried to hide their children. Others begged or offered money to the guards. The Varn soldiers did not care. They took whoever fit the law. As night fell, Dale stayed awake. He watched through the cracked window as a transport ship landed nearby. The sound of engines made the children stir in their sleep. He moved quietly, checking the few things he owned. He opened an old metal box under his bed. Inside was a small paper photo, an old image from Earth, showing him with his late wife before the war. She had been kind, brave, and strong. She was gone now, but her memory gave him strength. He whispered, "I will not fail them." The next morning, the air was filled with the sound of boots. Alien officers walked street by street, shouting orders. Human mothers cried as soldiers dragged away children. Some resisted, but it only led to pain. The Varn had no mercy. When the knock came on Dale's door, he stood ready. 2 alien guards entered, tall and silver-skinned. Their armor reflected the dim light. One held a data pad. "This home contains unregistered minors," the guard said. "You will surrender them." Dale stood firm. "They are mine," he said. "Your claim is not recognized," the guard replied coldly. "According to the registry, they are orphans." "They are not orphans," Dale said, his voice steady. "They are my children." The guard stepped closer. "Defiance will be punished. Move aside." Behind Dale, Mira held Leah tightly. Tom looked ready to run. Dale raised a hand slightly, signaling them to stay still. He looked at the guards again. "You will not take them," he said. The aliens exchanged a glance. One reached for his weapon. Dale moved faster. He grabbed a nearby wrench from the table and swung it with force. The metal struck the weapon out of the alien's hand. The second guard tried to raise his arm, but Dale pushed him back with all his strength. The guard stumbled against the wall. The children screamed. The noise brought more soldiers from outside. Dale turned and shouted, "Run to the back door!" Mira took the other two and fled through the small hallway. Dale blocked the doorway as 3 more guards entered. They grabbed him, forced him down, and hit him until he could barely breathe. But even then, he fought. He kicked one of them away, trying to reach the children. His arms were caught and locked behind his back. The aliens threw him to the ground. "Human filth," one said. "You will be punished for this." Dale spat blood and looked up. "You can try," he said. The aliens dragged him out to the street and chained his hands. The other humans watched silently from their windows. No one dared to help. The guards took him to the transport yard where dozens of other humans were already gathered as the day went on. The Varn governor's ships began taking children away. Their small cries echoed across the city. Dale stood in chains, watching helplessly. He could not see his children anywhere and feared the worst. Then, through the crowd, he saw a familiar face. It was Rin, an alien engineer he had once saved during a factory explosion years ago. Rin had always respected Dale for his courage and skill. Now Rin wore a different uniform, one of a lower-ranking officer. Rin walked close and whispered, "They are searching for your children, Dale. I cannot protect you here. But there may still be a way out." Dale's eyes burned with hope and anger. "Tell me where they are." "I do not know," Rin said quickly. "But there is talk. The collectors will move the children to the old station before sunset. If you can break free, go there." Dale looked at the heavy chains around his wrists. They were made from reinforced steel, strong enough to hold machines twice his size. He pulled once, testing their strength. They held firm. But his mind was already working. "I will find them," he said. Aaron glanced around nervously. "Be careful. The guards will not show mercy." The evening sky turned red. The prisoners were lined up for transport. Dale stood near the edge of the platform, his hands bound, his heart racing. He could see alien guards laughing and pushing humans into cages. Every scream, every cry, built a storm inside him. He remembered his wife's words before she died. "No one is coming to save us, Dale. We must save ourselves." Something inside him shifted. The chains felt lighter. The sound of the guards shouting faded. His heartbeat roared in his ears. He gritted his teeth and pulled with all his strength. The steel links strained, groaned, and then snapped apart with a sharp sound. The guards turned in shock as he swung the broken chain into one of them, sending him to the ground. Before they could react, Dale charged forward. Years of hard labor had made his body strong. He pushed through the guards, knocking them aside. Humans nearby saw him breaking free. For the first time, they saw one of their own stand tall. The spark of courage spread. People began shouting, some breaking from their lines. Rin shouted from a distance, "Go, Dale. Find them." Dale ran. His hands still bled from the broken chains, but he did not stop. He pushed through alleys, past burning torches, and through smoke rising from the city. The night had come alive with chaos. Alarms rang. The Varn soldiers were everywhere. But Dale knew every hidden path. When he reached the old station, he saw transport cages being loaded onto ships. Inside one cage, he spotted Mira's face. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "Dad," she cried. Dale's heart broke and burned at once. He ran toward the cage, but a guard blocked his path. The guard raised his weapon, and Dale tackled him to the ground. They fought fiercely. Dale's hands found a loose piece of pipe, and he struck the guard with it, knocking him out. He grabbed the key from his belt and opened the cage. Mira jumped into his arms. "Tom and Leah are in the next one," she said. Dale looked up. 2 more cages were being lifted toward the ship. He sprinted toward them as the engines roared. He climbed onto the loading ramp, grabbed the edge of the cage, and pulled it open. Tom and Leah cried with relief. He lifted them both and ran down the ramp as the ship began to rise. Blaster shots filled the air. The ground shook. Dale shielded the children with his body and ran through the smoke toward the tunnels beyond the station. Behind them, the governor's ship gave orders for pursuit. But in that moment, Dale did not think of fear. He thought only of the small hands gripping his arms, of the promise he had made to protect them. And as they disappeared into the tunnels, the night sky of Orphan Prime burned bright with the first spark of human defiance. The tunnels beneath Orphan Prime were cold and damp. The walls were built from old steel and covered with marks from long-forgotten wars. Dale moved fast, holding Leah in his arms, while Mira and Tom followed close behind. Their small feet splashed through the shallow water. The echoes of their steps followed them like ghosts. Behind them, the city burned. Red lights flashed across the sky as the alien patrols searched every street. Loudspeakers shouted orders in the Varn language. Dale could still hear the faint hum of engines as search drones flew overhead. He knew it would not be long before they began sweeping the underground. They reached a wide tunnel that split in 3 directions. Dale stopped to catch his breath. His shirt was torn, and his hands still bled from the broken chains. Mira looked at him with worry. "Dad, are you hurt?" she asked softly. He shook his head. "I am fine. We must keep moving." Tom pointed down one of the darker paths. "This way leads to the power station, right?" "Yes," Dale said. "The old power station was closed years ago. If we can reach it, we can hide there until sunrise." He took Leah's hand and started walking again. The air smelled of rust and oil. Somewhere above them, heavy machines moved. The tunnels had once carried energy from the station to the whole city, but now they were empty, forgotten by everyone, except the rats and the few humans who dared to hide. As they moved deeper, they heard a faint sound behind them. It was the echo of metal footsteps. Dale stopped at once. He raised his hand, signaling the children to stay silent. The sound grew louder. He turned off the small light he carried and listened. Voices spoke in the alien tongue. The patrol had entered the tunnels. Dale looked around and saw a small opening in the wall, half covered by debris. "Inside, quick," he whispered. The children crawled in, and he followed last, pulling the broken metal pieces to cover the hole. They sat in complete darkness. The air was thick and still. Through a small gap, Dale watched the tunnel. A beam of blue light swept across the walls as the alien soldiers searched. He held Leah close, feeling her tiny heartbeat against his chest. He whispered, "Do not move. Do not breathe loud." The search lasted several minutes. One of the aliens walked close to their hiding place. Dale gripped a piece of pipe, ready to fight if they were found. But the patrol passed by, and soon their steps faded into the distance. Only then did he let out a slow breath. Mira placed her hand on his arm. "They are gone," she said. "Yes," he replied, "but they will come back. We must not stay here." They waited a few minutes more before crawling out. The children were tired, their clothes wet, but none complained. Dale felt proud of them. Even in fear, they showed courage. They continued through the tunnel until they reached a wide metal door. It was covered in rust, but Dale remembered this place. Years ago, before the war, he had worked here. He knew how to open it. He pulled out an old card from his pocket. It was cracked and faded, but he hoped it still worked. He slid it into the scanner beside the door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a faint green light blinked, and the door opened with a hiss. The room inside was large and silent. Broken machines filled the space. The floor was covered in dust and old cables. In one corner stood a few storage containers and a control panel that still flickered weakly. "This will do," Dale said. "We can rest here." He found a dry spot and helped the children sit down. Mira leaned against a wall, hugging her knees. Tom explored the room, looking at the strange machines. Leah sat quietly, clutching her small blanket. Dale walked to the control panel. It was damaged, but a few systems still responded. He turned on a small screen and saw the city map. The red marks showed where the patrols were searching. They had already spread to the western tunnels. He frowned. "We need to move east before morning," he said. Tom looked up. "Where will we go after that?" Dale thought for a moment. "There is someone who can help us. His name is Rin. He is not like the others. He once helped humans escape the camps." Mira looked doubtful. "Can we trust him?" Dale nodded. "I saved his life once. He will remember." They ate what little food they had. A few dry pieces of bread and a bottle of water. Dale gave most of it to the children. When they finished, he told them to rest for a few hours. The children soon fell asleep. Dale sat near the door, keeping watch. He listened to the hum of the city above and the distant sounds of explosions. Somewhere out there, humans were fighting back. Small acts of rebellion had begun across Orphan Prime. People whispered Dale's name. Some said he broke the chains meant for machines. Others said he could not be caught. He did not care for fame. All he wanted was to keep his family safe. The night passed slowly. At dawn, the faint glow of the twin suns reached the tunnels. Dale woke the children. "It is time," he said. They moved east through narrow paths until they reached a metal ladder leading upward. Dale climbed first, pushing open a hatch that led to the surface. The world above was silent. Smoke rose from distant fires. The air smelled of dust and burnt fuel. He helped the children climb out and led them through the ruins of an old factory district. Then he saw movement in the distance. A small hover truck approached. It was painted in dull colors, the kind used by maintenance workers. The driver was an alien with pale blue skin and tired eyes. Dale recognized him at once. "Rin?" he called. Rin stopped the vehicle and looked shocked. "Dale, you made it out." "I heard they captured you." "They did," Dale said, "but I escaped. I need help. The children are with me." Rin looked around nervously. "You should not be here. The city is under full lockdown. They will kill anyone who hides fugitives." "I do not ask for comfort," Dale said firmly. "I ask for a way out." Rin hesitated, then opened the truck door. "Get in." Quickly, they climbed inside. Rin drove through the empty streets, keeping to the shadows. He used side routes known only to workers. "Where are you taking us?" Dale asked. "There is an old freight port beyond the industrial zone," Rin said. "It is not guarded anymore. If we reach it, I can help you steal a shuttle." Mira's eyes widened. "A shuttle? Can it fly?" Rin nodded. "Yes, it will not take you far, but it can reach the outer rim. There are human colonies there." "They will protect you," Tom asked. "Why are you helping us? You could be punished." Rin smiled sadly. "Because once, your father saved my life. He could have left me to die in that factory fire, but he did not. I owe him more than I can repay." As they drove, Dale watched the city fade behind them. The tall towers of the Varn shone like silver knives under the rising sun. Smoke and fire marked the places where humans had started to fight back. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the calm. A patrol drone appeared above them, scanning the truck. Rin cursed under his breath. "Hold on." He turned sharply into a narrow alley. The drone followed, firing small energy blasts. The truck shook as the blasts hit the walls. Mira and Tom screamed. Dale grabbed the steering rod. "Drive faster." "I am trying," Rin said. "The engine is weak." Dale looked back and saw the drone closing in. He opened the side panel and found a box of tools. Among them was a heavy wrench. He grabbed it, climbed halfway out of the window, and aimed at the drone. The machine swooped low. Dale swung with all his strength. The wrench hit the drone's sensor and sent it crashing to the ground in sparks. Rin laughed nervously. "You are still the same man who broke chains." Dale climbed back inside, breathing hard. "Keep going." After another hour, they reached the edge of the city. The freight port lay ahead, half buried under dust. Old ships rested there, forgotten, R.I. Parked the truck behind a pile of metal parts. "We are here," he said. "The guards rarely come this far." Dale stepped out, looking at the rusty ships. "Can any of these still fly?" "One of them can," Rin said, pointing to a small shuttle. "I have been repairing it for months. It is not perfect, but it will lift." They moved quickly. Dale helped Rin load fuel cells while Mira and Tom gathered food from the supplies. Leah sat in the pilot seat, looking around with wonder. "Are we leaving this place forever?" she asked. Dale smiled and brushed her hair. "Yes, we are going to find a new home." But before they could start the engines, Rin froze. His ears twitched. "Listen," he whispered. From the distance came the sound of engines. Many engines. Dale climbed to the roof of the ship and saw dust clouds rising. A convoy of Varn vehicles was coming straight toward the port. "They found us," he said. Rin's face turned pale. "How? We took every side road." Dale looked at the children. "Get inside. Stay low." Rin ran to the control panel and tried to power the engines. "It will take a few minutes to warm up," he said. "We do not have minutes," Dale replied. He grabbed a metal bar from the ground and moved toward the open gate. The vehicles drew closer. The sound of alien voices filled the air. Ian shouted, "You cannot fight them alone." Dale did not answer. He stood firm, gripping the metal bar, his heart calm. Behind him, the children watched through the window. They saw not fear, but determination in his eyes. The first group of alien soldiers stepped into view, weapons raised. The leader shouted in their harsh language, ordering Dale to surrender. Dale took a deep breath. "If you want them," he said, "you will have to go through me." The soldiers advanced. The battle for freedom had begun. The wind swept across the old freight port as Dale stood firm in front of the shuttle. The alien convoy had arrived, their vehicles kicking up dust and gravel as they slowed at the edge of the port. Their weapons glinted in the morning sun. Behind the shuttle, Mira, Tom, and Leah huddled together, watching their father with wide eyes. Dale's heart pounded, but his mind was sharp and clear. He could not let them be taken. The lead alien shouted orders in a harsh voice. Soldiers spread out, surrounding the area. Each step they took made the metal ground tremble. Dale gripped the metal bar in his hands. It was heavy, but it was all he needed to hold them off. Aaron ran to the shuttle, working to finish starting the engines. Sparks flew as he connected the last power cell. "It will take time to warm up," he shouted. Dale nodded. He turned back to face the soldiers. Their eyes were cold and unfeeling. Their hands rested on weapons designed to pierce armor. He did not flinch. "If you want them, you will go through me," he said loudly. The aliens hesitated for a moment. They had heard stories about humans before, about how fragile they seemed, yet capable of defiance. Dale was not large, but there was a strength in his stance, in the way he faced them without fear. The leader stepped forward, tall and silver-skinned, holding a long staff that glowed faintly at the tip. "You are foolish," the leader said. "Surrender the children, and no harm will come to you." Dale shook his head. "They are my family. I will not surrender them." The alien leader growled and signaled his troops. They charged forward, weapons raised. Dale braced himself. He swung the metal bar with all his strength at the first soldier. The bar connected with the alien's armor, sending a sharp ringing sound through the air. The soldier stumbled back, clutching the dent in his chest. The children screamed, but Dale blocked them from view. He swung again at another soldier, knocking him off balance. Sparks flew as weapons clashed against metal. The leader raised his glowing staff and aimed at Dale. Energy shot toward him. But he rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding it. Dale could feel the heat from the blast. He hit a container nearby, sending it rolling into a group of advancing soldiers. They stumbled over it, giving him a moment to push forward. He grabbed a chain hanging from the port crane and swung across the ground. Knocking several soldiers aside, Rin finally managed to power the shuttle. The engines roared to life, making the ground vibrate beneath them. Smoke and fire filled the air as the shuttle's lights flickered. Dale ran toward it, holding the children close. Mira, Tom and Leah clung to him, trusting him completely. The alien leader growled and swung his staff, sending another wave of energy at Dale. Dale ducked, feeling the heat singe his hair. He swung the metal bar again, this time hitting the staff. Sparks flew as the staff was knocked to the ground. The leader stumbled back. Surprised by the human's strength, Dale ran the last few meters and jumped onto the shuttle's ramp. Rin opened the side door, and the children climbed inside first. Dale followed, dragging the metal bar with him. The shuttle's engines roared louder, vibrating the walls. Dale slammed the ramp shut just as the aliens reached the shuttle. Arin pushed the controls, and the shuttle lifted into the air. Dust, smoke, and debris blew in every direction as the vehicle rose. Dale looked down and saw the aliens shouting, raising their weapons. But they were too far away to stop them. Inside the shuttle, the children gasped in relief. Mira hugged her father tightly. "We made it, Dad," she said, her voice trembling. "Yes," Dale said, breathing heavily. "But we are not safe yet." Rin piloted the shuttle carefully. The old vehicle creaked as it rose higher. The city of Arthon Prime began to shrink below them, towers and streets disappearing into the distance. Dale kept looking back, remembering the chaos that children taken, and the people who could not escape. "We need to reach the outer rim," Rin said. "There is a small human settlement. They can hide you until the Varn stop searching." Dale nodded. "Do whatever you can to get us there." The journey was long and tense. The shuttle was old and slow, and the engines struggled to keep them in the sky. Dale watched the children carefully. Leia held a small blanket, eyes wide with curiosity and fear. Tom asked questions about the stars. Mira quietly kept her eyes on her father, watching every movement. After several hours, the shuttle reached a small settlement built on the edge of a desert planet. It was a hidden place, shielded by cliffs and covered by natural camouflage. Humans had lived there for decades, quietly avoiding the Varn patrols. Rin guided the shuttle down a narrow canyon. Dale's hands gripped the metal side as the vehicle shook. Finally, the shuttle landed softly in a clearing surrounded by high cliffs. Dale jumped out first, carrying Leia. The children ran after him. Mira looked around, amazed at the small settlement. Humans emerged from hidden shelters, armed but cautious. Their eyes widened as they saw Dale with the children. One man stepped forward. "Are you the one who broke the chains in Arthon Prime?" he asked. Dale nodded. "Yes, and I need your help. The Varna are after my family." The humans looked at each other, understanding immediately. "You are safe here," the man said. "Come inside. We will protect you." They led Dale and the children into a series of underground shelters. The walls were reinforced, and the rooms were warm and safe. Dale finally set the children down. Mira, Tom, and Leia hugged each other, exhausted but relieved. That night, the children slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. Dale sat outside the shelter, looking at the stars. The sky was vast, filled with countless worlds. He thought about the people they had left behind and the ones who had helped them escape. Rin joined him quietly. "You were amazing," he said. "No one expected a single human to fight like that." Dale shook his head. "I had no choice. They were my children. I would have done anything." Rin smiled. "That is why humans are different. You fight not for glory, not for power, but for each other. That is what makes you strong." Dale looked at the sky. He knew Rin was right. The Varn had advanced technology, powerful armies, and control over many worlds. But they lacked one thing humans had in abundance: courage, hope, and the will to protect loved ones. The next morning, Dale woke the children. "We cannot stay hidden forever," he said. "We must be ready for whatever comes next." "We will help," she said. "We are not afraid." Tom smiled. "We learned from the best." Leah clung to her father and whispered, "I want to be brave like you." Dale hugged her tightly. "You already are." Over the next few days, the humans of the settlement helped Dale and the children prepare. They repaired the shuttle, gathered supplies, and trained in basic defense. Dale taught Mira and Tom how to move quietly, how to listen for danger, and how to stay calm under pressure. Even little Leah learned to watch for shadows and to trust her instincts. One evening, as the sun set, Dale stood on a cliff overlooking the settlement. Rin joined him, holding a small cup of water. "The Varn will not give up," Rin said. "They will search every world if they have to." Dale nodded. "I know, but we are not just hiding. We are preparing. Humans will fight and we will not be broken." Rin smiled. "I never thought I would see a human stand against the Varn and survive. You have given hope to many." Dale looked down at the small lights of the settlement. Families were cooking, children were playing, and humans worked quietly to repair old machines. It was a fragile peace, but it was hope. The father knew the road ahead would be dangerous. The Varn would not stop until they found every human. But he also knew one thing. He had broken the first chain, and that chain had sparked a fire. Wherever humans stood together, there was strength, courage, and an unbreakable will. He returned to the children and helped them sleep safely that night. He watched them close, knowing that the next battle would come, but also knowing that humans, no matter how small or weak they seemed, could change the course of a galaxy. The first step had been taken. One father, 3 children, and the courage of humans had set a spark that could not be extinguished. And as the twin suns of the desert world set, Dale promised himself and the children that no power in the galaxy could take their freedom again. The night was silent, but the stars whispered a promise. The story of humans had only just begun. The small human settlement on the desert world was quiet under the rising twin suns. Dale woke before the children, as he had every day since escaping Orphan Prime. The cool morning air carried the scent of metal and sand. He could hear the faint hum of the repaired shuttle in the hangar. Rin had spent all night checking the engines and reinforcing the shields. Dale checked on the children. Mira stirred first, rubbing her eyes. Tom sat up and stretched, while Leia clutched her blanket. "Good morning," Dale said, smiling. "Today we begin our next step." Myra looked concerned. "Is it safe to leave the settlement now?" Dale shook his head. "Safe is a word we cannot use, but hiding forever is not an option. The Varn will search every world if they have to. We must be ready to move and to fight if necessary." Tom looked at his father with admiration. "We can do it, right?" Dale nodded. "Yes, but we need more than courage. We need a plan." After a quick breakfast, Dale, Rin, and the children moved to the shuttle. It rested in the hangar, half buried beneath metal scaffolding and sand. Dale checked every panel and system, while Rin finished securing fuel cells. The shuttle's engines purred to life, louder and steadier than the previous flight. "Are we ready?" Rin asked. Dale nodded. "We leave at first light. Keep the engines hot and ready. I do not want to give them any chance to catch us." The plan was simple, but dangerous. They would fly through the outer rim, where scattered human colonies could hide them if the Varn arrived. Then they would reach a world known only to the settlement elders. It was remote and uninhabited, but it had resources and shelter. There, Dale could regroup and prepare for whatever the Varn would send next. The shuttle lifted from the hangar smoothly, stirring dust and small rocks into the air. Mira and Tom looked out of the window, their faces filled with wonder at the desert cliffs passing beneath them. Leah clutched Dale's arm, but she no longer trembled with fear. She felt safe with her father. Hours passed as they navigated through the outer rim. The small shuttle moved carefully, avoiding patrols and asteroid fields. Dale guided Rin, pointing out hidden dangers and routes used by smugglers in the past. Suddenly the scanners beeped. Rin looked at the screen and frowned. "Dale, we are not alone. Varn ships are approaching fast. They must have tracked us from Orphan Prime." Dale's jaw tightened. "We expected this. Prepare for evasive maneuvers." The Varn ships appeared on the horizon, sleek and silver, cutting through the black of space with deadly precision. The children watched in awe and fear. Mira gripped Dale's hand. "Dad, are we in danger?" Dale looked at her, his eyes calm but serious. "Yes, but we will survive. Trust me." Rin maneuvered the shuttle through asteroid belts and hidden valleys in space, using every trick he knew. The Varn ships followed relentlessly, firing energy pulses that lit up the void. Dale grabbed the controls for a moment, guiding the shuttle through a narrow pass between two massive asteroids. One ship tried to follow and struck the side of a rock, sending sparks into space. The children gasped. Tom looked at Dale. "You saved us again." Dale smiled briefly. "We are not safe yet. Keep your heads down." Hours of pursuit turned into days. The shuttle ran low on fuel and food. The children grew tired, but Dale kept their spirits high. He told stories of Earth, of courage and hope, reminding them that humans were strong. Mira asked questions about planets and stars, and Dale answered as best he could, teaching them about navigation and survival. On the third day, they reached a small moon that had been marked as safe by the settlement elders. It was covered in rocky plains and hidden caves. Dale guided the shuttle to a narrow valley where the engines would not be easily detected. They landed softly, and Rin shut down the systems. They stepped out into the cold moon air. The silence was thick, almost comforting after days of being hunted. Dale helped the children down and looked at the horizon. The moon's jagged cliffs would provide cover. He planned to hide the shuttle in a cave and set up basic defenses. As they explored the area, Dale noticed tracks in the sand. The Varn ships had followed them closely. He turned to Rin. "They know we are here. They will search this moon." Rin nodded. "We must be ready for an attack. You cannot fight alone if they land." Dale's eyes narrowed. He had no weapons except what they could find. But he also knew humans had strength the Varn could never understand. "We will make them regret coming," he said. They spent the next few hours preparing. Dale taught Mira and Tom to watch the perimeter, to signal if danger approached. Leah stayed close, helping in small ways, picking up rocks or moving supplies. Rin helped construct barricades from rocks and debris, making the entrance to their hiding place almost invisible. That night, Dale stood outside looking at the stars. The Varn ships were still near the outer rim searching for them. He knew it was only a matter of time before they arrived. But he also knew something else. Humans could fight even when cornered. Humans could turn fear into courage. The next morning, the first signs of the Varn landing ships appeared on the horizon. Large craft descended slowly, using beams of energy to clear obstacles. Soldiers emerged, walking in formation toward the valley. Dale turned to the children. "Stay inside," he said firmly. "Do exactly as I taught you. Do not come out unless I say." Mira and Tom nodded. Leah clung to Dale's leg. "I am not afraid," she whispered. "You are," Dale said softly. "But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act anyway." The Varn approached the cave. Dale grabbed a long metal pipe, ready to defend the entrance. The first group of soldiers stepped into view. Dale swung the pipe with precise timing, striking the first two soldiers before they could react. Sparks flew as the weapon connected with energy shields. The soldiers staggered but recovered quickly. Dale swung again, knocking one of them to the ground. Rin fired from a small concealed blaster, keeping the soldiers at bay while Dale protected the children. Mira and Tom helped by throwing rocks and small tools, distracting the soldiers. Leah handed supplies to Dale, who used them to strengthen his defenses. The fight was intense, but precise. Dale moved with speed and skill, each swing calculated to keep the children safe. The Varn leader arrived with a glowing staff. He raised it and fired a beam of energy toward Dale. Dale dodged and swung the metal pipe, connecting with the staff. Sparks erupted. The leader roared and charged. Dale met him head-on, blocking and striking in a deadly rhythm. The battle lasted for hours. Dale's strength was unmatched, and the children's courage inspired him. Rin fired strategically, causing confusion among the soldiers. Finally, Dale pushed the leader back with all his strength, sending him stumbling into a rocky wall. The remaining soldiers, seeing their leader defeated, hesitated. Dale shouted, "Leave now, or face the humans." The soldiers backed away slowly, retreating to their ships. Dale stood firm, breathing heavily, holding the metal pipe like a shield. The children ran to him, hugging his legs. "You did it, Dad," Mira said, tears in her eyes. Dale smiled. "We did it together." Courage is stronger than any weapon. Rin approached, looking exhausted. I cannot believe we survived that, he said. You are truly remarkable. Ajil shook his head. We survived because we have each other. The Varn do not understand humans. We fight for love, hope, and family. That is what makes us strong. That night, they repaired the shuttle and rested. The children slept safely for the first time in days. Dale sat outside, looking at the horizon. The stars were bright, and the silence was heavy. He knew the Varn would not stop searching, but he also knew one thing. Humans could endure, fight, and rise even in the darkest moments. The father had protected his children once again. They had escaped Orphan Prime, survived the chase, and faced the Varn directly. Dale understood that their journey was far from over, but the fire of hope burned stronger than ever. He looked at Mira, Tom, and Laya sleeping peacefully. We will keep going, he whispered. No chain can hold us. No power can break us. We are humans, and we will survive. The moon was silent, but the spark of human courage had grown into a flame that the galaxy could not ignore. The hidden moon was calm in the early morning. The twin suns of the desert world rose over the cliffs, casting long shadows across the rocky landscape. Dale woke first, as he always did, and checked on the children. Mira, Tom, and Leah were already stirring. Their faces were brighter today, filled with hope instead of fear. We need to prepare to leave soon, Dale said. The Varn will not give up. They will send others to search for us. Oh. Mira nodded. We are ready, Dad. We know what to do. We learned from you. Leah clutched her father's hand. I want to be brave. Like you. Dale smiled at them. You already are. Bravery is inside all of you. You just need to choose it when it matters. Rin joined them, holding a small map of the Outer Rim. We have a chance to reach a human colony, he said. It is small, but they will take us in. We can hide their rest and plan our next move. Dale looked at the children and then at Rin. Then we go. We keep moving forward. The shuttle had been repaired and reinforced after their last battle. Dale inspected every panel, every engine, and every control. The children helped where they could, handing tools or checking small components. Their small hands moved with care and determination. Dale felt pride in their courage. Finally, they boarded the shuttle. Mira took the pilot's seat beside Rin, learning how to navigate. Tom helped with sensors, watching for signs of enemy ships. Leah stayed close to Dale, holding his hand as he secured the last supplies. The engines roared to life, lifting the shuttle gently from the moon. Below them, the rocky cliffs and caves disappeared as they entered space. Dale looked at the stars and felt a mixture of relief and tension. They were not safe yet. The Varn were still searching, and danger would follow them. Hours passed as they traveled through asteroid fields and remote space routes. The children kept watch, learning from Dale and Rin. Mira pointed out distant ships. Tom calculated distances and speeds. Dale watched them, amazed at their growth. Even little Laya had learned to stay calm, following instructions without hesitation. Suddenly, Rin's scanner beeped. Dale, we have incoming ships. Several of them. They are fast and heavily armed. Dale clenched his fists. We expected this. Prepare for evasive action. We will not run forever. We will fight if we have to. The Varn ships appeared, sleek and menacing. Their energy pulses glowed brightly in the darkness of space. Dale took a deep breath. Mira, follow my instructions exactly. Tom, keep the shield steady. Rin, do everything you can to evade. The first wave of enemy ships fired, sending energy pulses toward the shuttle. Dale ducked and pulled levers, adjusting the shields. Sparks flew across the interior, and alarms rang. Mira steered the shuttle through a narrow asteroid field. Dodging blasts and weaving between massive rocks, Tom monitored the systems. Shields holding at 70%. Engines are stable. Dale looked at the children. We are doing well. Stay focused. Keep calm. The Varn ships split into two groups. One chased them, and the other tried to flank. Dale noticed a weak spot in the flanking group's formation. Rin, Take us through the narrow gap between the asteroids. The others cannot follow us there, Rin nodded. The shuttle shook as they maneuvered, narrowly avoiding collisions. Energy blasts hit the rocks around them, sending debris flying. Dale guided the children, keeping their focus sharp. They moved as a team, each one contributing to their survival. Finally, they reached the other side of the asteroid field. The Varn ships had been forced to turn back. For a moment, they were safe. Myra smiled. We did it. Dale shook his head. Not yet. Safety is temporary. We must keep moving. After several more hours, they reached a small human colony on a distant planet. The settlement was hidden within a forest, with natural barriers and careful defenses. Human scouts approached their shuttle cautiously. Dale stepped out first. Holding Leah, Mira, and Tom followed, alert and ready. The scouts nodded in recognition. Are you Dale, the human who broke the chains in Orphans Prime? One asked. Dale nodded. Yes, I have brought these children with me. We need refuge. The scouts smiled. You are safe here. Come with us. We will protect you. Inside the colony, the children marveled at the small buildings, the green trees, and the warmth of people who welcomed them. Dale felt a deep sense of relief. For the first time in weeks, they could rest without fear. The colony elders gathered to hear Dale's story. He told them about the Varn, the capture of human children, and the escape from Orphans Prime. He spoke of courage, hope, and the determination of humans to protect each other. Myra and Tom spoke as well, recounting their experiences, how they had learned from their father, and how they had faced fear together. Leah quietly held her blanket, but her eyes shone with pride. The elders were impressed. You have done what many could not, one said. Your courage has inspired all of us. Humans can survive anything when they fight together. Dale nodded. We fight not for ourselves alone. We fight for family, for hope, and for the future. That is what makes us strong. Days passed in the colony. The children explored, learned new skills, and helped the community. Dale worked alongside the settlers, repairing machines, organizing supplies, and training other humans in defense. Mira and Tom learned navigation, communication, and survival skills. Leah learned to move quietly and help where she could. The colony became a hub for humans who had escaped the Varn. Stories of Dale and the children spread across nearby settlements. Humans began to organize themselves, ready to protect each other and resist oppression. Dale's actions had sparked a movement. One evening, Dale stood on a hill overlooking the colony. Rin joined him, holding a small cup of water. You have done more than survive, Rin said. You have inspired humans across the outer rim. Dale looked at the settlement below. Families laughed, children played, and humans worked together. It is not me alone, he said. It is all of us. Humans are strongest when we stand together. That is the lesson I want everyone to remember. Rin nodded. You have changed the course of this world. The Varn will think twice before capturing humans again, Dale smiled. I hope so. But even if they come again, we will be ready. We have learned to fight, to survive, and to protect each other. That is more powerful than any weapon. The children joined him on the hill. Mira leaned against his shoulder. We are safe now, Dad, she said. Yes, Dale replied. But remember, safety is not a gift. It is earned through courage, hard work, and care for each other. Tom grinned. Then we will always be brave, just like you. Leah held Dale's hand tightly, and I will never be afraid again. The twin suns set, casting golden light over the colony. Dale watched the stars emerge, feeling a sense of peace he had not known for years. The children slept safely in their new home, and humans around them were building a future where no one would be sold or captured. Months later, humans from nearby worlds joined the colony. Stories of Dale's courage spread across star systems. Children who had lost their families were protected. Communities formed, united by the promise that no human would ever be left behind. Dale continued to teach, guide, and protect. The children grew strong and wise, carrying forward the lessons of courage, hope, and family. They knew that humans were capable of incredible strength when they stood together. The father had broken the chains that once bound them. The children had learned to face fear, and humanity, small but determined, begun to reclaim its place in the galaxy. Dale stood on the hill one last time, looking at the stars. He thought of the journey, the battles, and the countless challenges they had overcome. He knew more would come, but he also knew that humans were unstoppable when their hearts were united. The story of one man and three children had become a legacy. It was a story of courage, of love, and of the unbreakable human spirit. Across the galaxy, humans would remember that day, the day when chains were broken and hope burned brighter than any fear. And so, Dale and the children, along with their fellow humans, began a new chapter. A chapter where humans were no longer powerless, where courage and determination shaped the future, and where the spark of one father's bravery ignited the hearts of countless others. The stars watched silently as humans moved forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The story was complete, but the legacy had only just begun.